each of these problems. So my friends, being I'm running through each and every problem, would you do me a favor? Would you go along on your paper to make sure that your answer corresponds to my answer? And that you understand why my answers work the way they do. Deal? Yes. Not me. No. All right. Video working.
All right, I'm going to come around and check homework. So.
And Nivea is just watching the video online. She's not feeling well, so she just went. You said you're watching my video online. Did you find it? Okay. All right.
Wait, I think there's some pronounced it wrong. Bless you.
I apologize.
That's why I said
I can't even hear what I'm saying. My ears are so. All right. So for problems 1, 2, 3, and 4. They tell us up in the directions that the A value is -2 and the B value is 3. Okay, so I'm going to replace my A value with -2. I'm going to replace my B value with 3. Make sense so far? Okay, the problem is not done. You want to go -2 times -2 times -2. That gives you -8. You want to go 3 squared, which is 9. So the answer to this is -72. Excuse me. Okay. Problem number 2. Stop me if you need me to. Stop. Okay, so my A value is -2 squared. My B value is 3. All right. What is -2 squared? -2 squared. -2 times -2. 4. Positive is in parentheses, okay? And then, so this answer comes out to be 13. Problem number 3, I get -40A, oops, 40A to the -3. So before you plug something in, take care of that negative exponent. Notice the 40 stayed negative. The -40 is not an exponent that's negative. It's just the A value is negative. Excuse me. All right, so now I can plug in my A value, which is -2. And so -2 times -2 times -2 is -8. And then negative over negative is positive. 8 goes into 45 times, so the answer just comes out to be 5. Number 4. All right. Before I do anything on number 4 by plugging in stuff, what I would want to do is I'm going to do the tug of war. So tug of war with the A's. Who wins, top or bottom? 8 of the first, 8 of the second. Bottom by 1. For the B's, who wins, top or bottom? Okay. So now I can go ahead and plug in my 3 over -2, and there's my answer. We good? Any questions on those first 4? All right, let's move on. Number 5. We have 4 raised to the -2 power. That's going to be 1 over 4 to the second. 4 to the second is 16. There's your answer. Number 6. I get x to the -3, which is equal to 1 over x to the third. Notice when it moves locations, the exponent becomes positive. Problem number 7, I have x to the 5th, y to the -3. The only thing that wants to move is the y value. It becomes a denominator, and it goes like that. You cannot do a tug of war there because you have x as a base and y as a base. They're not the same bases. Number 8, we have x to the -3, y to the -2. These just want to switch locations. So y moves up, x moves down. The exponents become positive when you change locations. Number 9, we get x to the 0, y to the -6, z to the second. Okay, this right here is just 1. Okay, the z will stay on top, the y moves to the bottom, and it's 1 times that, so there's my answer. Okay, take a look what I'm doing. Do you agree? Does this feel comfortable? Yes. Number 10, I have 3 over y to the negative 8. So y to the negative 8 wants to move back up. So a 1 stays on bottom. You don't have to put the 1 on bottom, but there's the answer to number 10. I don't know about y'all, but this chapter seems like it might be going pretty okay for y'all. Agree? Yeah. Number 11, we had x squared, y to the negative 2, w raised to the 0 power, z to the negative 2. Okay, w to the 0 is just 1. And then I want to move the y and the z. The x stays on top. The z moves up, becomes a positive exponent. The y moves down, becomes a positive exponent. So there's my answer, number 11. Number 12, we get 6 over 4, x to the negative 3, y to the 6, z to the negative 1. So we can reduce the 6 over 4. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 4 twice. So I'm going to get 3 over 2. The x to the minus 3 on bottom moves up to the top, becomes positive. The z to the negative 1 moves from the bottom up to the top. And then y to the 6 stays downstairs because it was not a negative exponent. And my friends, that is page 185. Is there questions about that? Roger. We good so far, friends? Sip of coffee time. Oh, that's good. That's top shelf. Almost as good as Turkish. Well, probably about 90% less than Turkish, but my taste buds are shot right now, so I can imagine. Oh, turkey. That's the cat's meow, huh? All right. On page 186, the backside, number 13. Tug of war. Tug of war, who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? What's 2 squared?
3.
No, 2 squared is 4. Morgan, you got a haircut, looks like.
Yeah.
Looks good. All right, on number 14, do not do tug of war yet. Get rid of the negative exponents. So y to the 5th moves up, becomes positive. Y to the 2nd moves down, becomes positive when it moves down. Tug of war with the y's. Who wins right now? Top or bottom? Top by how many? 3. Number 15, get x to the 5th, y to the 2nd, x to the 2nd, y to the 5th. This is a bunch of tug of war. Who wins with the x's, top or bottom? By how many? 3. Tug of war with the y's. Who wins? By how many? Good. Done. Number 16. I get 3x to the 7th over 6x to the 5th. Okay, let's reduce. 3 goes into itself once, goes into 6 twice. Excuse me. So I'm going to get a 2 on bottom. Tug of war with the x's. Who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? There you go. X squared over 2. We all doing okay on this Friday? Hopefully by Monday I won't come in and be clear of this silly cold I caught. Normally don't get a cold, but it happens. All right. Now, the hard part about doing some of these is you might want to try and do too many things at once, and it might lose you a little bit. Okay, so let's go slow. 4 goes into 8 twice. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So I'm going to get 3 over 2. Are you okay with that so far? Okay, tug of war with the x's. Who wins? Tug of war just with the x's. I have x to the 4th on top, x to the 4th on bottom. So what do? They cancel out. Nobody wins. There's no winner. Okay. What does this y to the negative 5 want to do? It wants to move up. Okay. What is z to the 0? Just 1. So I have z to the 3rd on bottom. So now I just clean it up. The y's will combine on top. 7 plus 5 is 12. And there it is. Okay. Number 18. Four y to the 3rd times 3y to the negative 5. All right. So we have a bunch of different stuff that we can start combining together. But being everything's being multiplied, we can start reducing. Like this 3 will reduce with this 3. This 2 will reduce with this 4. So right now, I know I have a 2 on bottom. I might have a 1 on top, but I'm not sure. Okay. What do the x's do here? What does this x and this x do? Do they cancel each other out, or do they combine? What do those x's do on top? Do they reduce or do they combine? They combine. So add the exponents, so I get x to the 6th. What does this y to the negative 5 want to do? It wants to go to the top, right? The y to the 3rd stays on bottom. Excuse me. Looks like tug of war with the y's. Who wins? Top or bottom on the y's? Top by how many? 2. Good. All making sense? Number 19. And I think number 19 is where you need to slow down a little bit. Okay? Because I know y'all, we're all human. We try and do a lot of stuff in our head. And unfortunately, sometimes things get goofed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take care of this first. 2 to the 3rd is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So I get 8x to the 3rd times x y to the 3rd over 4x to the 7th y. Okay. Can I reduce the 8 and the 4? Yeah, 4 goes into self once, goes into 8 twice. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can do this. How many x's are on top? How many x's are on top in the green? 4. Very good. Okay. If I combine these together, I get x to the 4th. Tug of war with the x's. Who wins, top or bottom? By how many? 3. Good. Tug of war with the y's. Who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? 2. Because that's a 1 there, right? Okay, so just be cautious on something that big. Sometimes you want to try and do too much in your head. You might want to write a little bit down. Number 20. All right. You ready? The negative 30 doesn't mean the 30 moves down. Do you agree? Negative 30 is not a negative exponent. It's just a negative number. Okay, so 15 goes into itself once, goes into 30 twice. So on that, right now I have a negative 2. Okay? I know that, let me highlight all of the things that are going to move. This is going to move, this is going to move, and this is going to move. Agree? So I'm going to rewrite those once they move. The other stuff isn't going to move. It's going to stay where it should be. So I have z to the 8 on top. I have y to the 9th on top. I have x on bottom. I have x to the 4th on bottom. I have y to the 7th on bottom. I had z to the 8 on top. I have z to the 10th on bottom. All right, we can start tug of warring right now. So the -2 is going to stay there. How many z's do I have on top? Oh, I don't. Never mind. Never mind. No, I accidentally wrote z too many times. I'm sorry. Tug of war with the z's. Who wins, top or bottom? Bottom. Okay, so just looking at the z's, bottom wins by 2. Oh, we're sounding wonderful. Tug of war with the y's. Who wins, top or bottom? Top by how many? 2. How many x's are on bottom? 5. Very good. Now, some of you might say, should I have x to the 5th and z to the 2nd? Sure. Is it okay to have them flip-flop? Yeah. In the world of math, some people are like, oh, just to keep things ordered, we like going alphabetical. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're welcome to make them alphabetical, but it doesn't matter. All right, problem number 21. We have -5x to the 5th times 3y to the 6th times -4x to the 4th. Oh my goodness. All right. -5 times 3 is -15. -15 times 4, I believe, is +60. I'm going to combine those x's together, so I'm going to get x to the 9th. I have no y's to combine together. It just comes along. There's no fraction on this problem. Number 22. Okay. So let's take care of our power to power. Power to power means we multiply the exponents. So that's c to the 10th. Power to power, multiply the exponents. C to the 12th times 3. What does this c to the -25 do? What happens where? C to the 25th, it moved down. Okay? Okay, so my answer is going to be 3. How many c's do I have on top? 22. Very good. Tug of war between the c's. C to the 22nd on top, C to the 25th on bottom. Who wins, top or bottom? By how many? 3. Yeah. So that was kind of a big, ugly problem that I cleaned up real nicely. Okay, 2 left. Am I going too fast, going too slow? Going just right? All right, problem number 23. All right, first thing I'm going to take care of is I'm just going to reduce the numbers. So 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So far I have 3 over 2. I'm going to highlight everything that's going to move. This is going to move. This is going to move. This will move. And this will move. Okay? Things that are not highlighted are staying in their location. So I have y to the 3rd, x to the 5th, y to the 2nd, x to the 3rd. On bottom, I have x squared, y to the 6th, x to the 2nd, y to the 9th. All right, I think we might be able to do this. If I'm looking at my y's, it appears that I have on top, I have y to the 5th. On bottom, I have y to the 15th. I look at my x's, I have x to the 8 on top. On bottom, I have x to the 4th. All right, tug of war time. Tug of war with y's. Who wins, x or y, or top or bottom? By how many? 10. Tug of war with the x's. Who wins? By how many? 4. Good. So patience on these problems, okay? I would say like during a test or quiz, maybe grab a highlighter so you can highlight like I've done so you can see where things are going to move to. Okay? Last one. And then we go to our lesson. A to the 0, B to the -3, A to the 5th, B to the -2, A to the 4th, B to the -2, A to the -5, B to the 4th. So first thing I would do on this one, well, we know this A to the 0 is just 1. Okay. Now let's highlight, not with a crayon. This is going to move, this is going to move, this is going to move, and this is going to move. So let's rewrite it with things that have moved. So far I have A to the 4th on top. I'm joined with B to the 2nd and A to the 5th. On bottom I have A to the 5th, B to the 4th, B to the 3rd moves down, B to the 2nd moves down. Now we can start deciphering this. If I combine those together, I get A to the 9th. Down here, I have 4, 3, and 2. So A to the 5th, it stays as is, and I get B to the 7th, B to the 9th. Tug of war, who wins with the A's? Top by A to the 4th. Who wins with the B's? By? Done. Pretty happy about this. You guys okay? All right. Kind of a quick lesson today. It has to do with scientific notation, which is definitely used in your science courses. Scientific notation was developed a long, long time ago to measure vast differences or vast distances, whereas or you could have like really small microscopic things. I'll be right here. All right, so we're going to take this. If I multiply by 10, the decimal moves one place to the right. If I multiply by 100, I move the decimal 2 places to the right. So notice I had to add a 0. If I divide by 10, I'm going to move my decimal 1 place to the left. If I divide by 100, I have to move my decimal 2 places to the left. Okay. Do you feel comfortable with that so far? It's literally just moving a placeholder. Okay? You guys find this okay? Yeah, it's on page 187. Page 187 in the notes. May I move on? We're good? See a couple people still writing. All right. So, scientific notation. Number expressed in scientific notation is A times 10 raised to the B power. Okay, where A is between 1 and 10. Scientific notation, there can only be one digit. So, scientific notation, you might see something like this. Okay, which basically means if I converted out of it, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 328,000 is 3.28 times 10 to the fifth. Where people make it wrong is they do something like this. Okay, this is only one place, not two. Okay, and I can't tell you exactly why. It's just when they came up with the rules on this, they said one place. And then after the decimal, you can have up to 3 decimal places. Excuse me. I thought for sure this cold would be out of me. May I move on? So I'm on page 188 now, right? All right. So if I want to rewrite this, how many places am I going to move my decimal? 5. To the right or to the left? Right. So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 924,000 is the same thing as 9.24 times 10 to the fifth power. How many places am I going to move my decimal on this one? 6. Okay? It's a negative exponent, so it means it's going to move to the left. So I have to add some zeros. So I'm going to put a decimal. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 8, 3. Okay? Now this is how you can double check if you made it right. If I move this back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is that the same as that? The answer is yes. So you have really small, minute decimal amounts, and you have really large numbers that can take place. Is that okay? And again, I'm sure you've seen scientific notation in some of your science classes. All right, ready? I want to write this in scientific notation. So I'm going to write it as 2.81. Remember, I have one number, a decimal, and up to 3 decimal places. Times 10. Okay, this is a small number, so this is going to be a negative. So ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2.81 times 10 to the negative 4th power is 0.000281.
How do you know that it goes down to 8.1? It has to be
Yeah, so basically you always want to have it a number and up to 3 decimals, where this is a number, raised to a number. Okay, so this one is not written correctly. Okay, the reason it's not written correctly is I have 2 spots. So let's take this out of scientific notation. So this means the decimal is going to move 5 places to the right. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if I did this right. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So that's my number. So if I wanted to correct it, so make it right now. So I'm going to have 7.36 times 10. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's our answer. Okay, so scientific notation is definitely something that's utilized all the time in science. Okay, scientific notation was designed because, even if you have one of these big old calculators like this, these big old calculators only go out 10-digit numbers by 10-digit numbers. Okay, so if I start multiplying big numbers on this, it's going to give me an answer in scientific notation because the calculator cannot handle numbers that are too big. Okay, so I would like you to work on page 189 and 190. I'm giving you a lot of time. And do all of them. Come up and see me if you need some help, but I'm happy to help you, okay?